We're here today with the young educational superstar. I'll allow you to take the floor and tell the people what your name is and what's your profession and what you do here for the world.
Okay, I'm Bryant George. I work at Medina University. I'm the founder and director of a scholarship and mentorship program for African American males titled Bridging Lost Gaps. The Bridging Lost Gaps program was started back in 2011 after I finished my undergraduate degree here at Medina University. The sole focus is to recruit, enroll, and retain and graduate African American males from the city of Detroit with their four-year degrees here at Medina University. We do that by providing the students with faculty, staff, and current student mentors. Also, we keep them engaged with community partners that are in the community, the surrounding area of Detroit. And we do it by creating a brotherhood where the students can hold each other accountable and they can transition to the pipeline of college.
That's phenomenal in itself to graduate from a school, turn around and be employed at that school and create your own program called Bridging Lost Gaps. So you can talk a little bit more about Bridging Lost Gaps and how did you get the motivation, and the intuition, to kind of begin this?
Okay. Well, it started off from a personal experience. My name is Bryant Lamar George, and so, all throughout my life, I, doodled on my papers and gym bags, BLG. And so I wanted to create something, that was unique. I was born on January the 15th, and so that's the same day as Martin Luther King was born on. And so he left a legacy here, for people to, have a dream. And not only have a dream while you sleep, but have that dream while you are awake as well. And so with that, I was able to, grow up and born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I saw my mother had me, as a teenager at 17 years old, and, we lived house to house, and, I saw a young teen mom struggle. And at the age of 4 and 5, I was realizing, like, wow, my life is totally different from the kids that are in my classroom in kindergarten and first grade. And so I was taken away from her, put in a household with my father. And with that, I saw him do drugs off and on. The guys I grew up, trading Pokemon cards with, they started selling dope. And when you see your father go right down the street, that hit home for me. And so I knew that these guys were lost, and I felt that if they had mentors and some type of support system, some type of bridge, they probably wouldn't have to take this route in life. And so with that, I had a chance to go to college. And being the first in my family to go to college, the rule was basically out of my family, if you leave here, don't come back here without the degree, because we have nothing else to offer you. You are a man. And if you look at life and you can see, inside of our urban areas, especially with our public school systems, you will see that every June you have African American males that are graduated from high school. Don't get me wrong, but you will see that somebody's calling their first and last name, someone is shaking their hand, with the other hand somebody is giving them a high school diploma that they earned, but they're taking this next step in life. And where's that step? So we have this massive school to prison pipeline going on right now, or we have a school to, the graveyard pipeline, and then we have a school to nothing type of pipeline. And so I said, well, why not create a pipeline where they're coming from high school right into university or college, and create a pipeline where they essentially are stepping onto another bridge. And so with this bridge, if you look at the word bridge, it really means a structure that has that carries over a pathway over an obstacle. And so when you say lost gaps, you can look at the word lost, and it's something that's unknown. And so if you look at it in Michigan, you can see throughout the four-year public institutions within the state of Michigan, it's only a 32.6 graduation rate within 6 years of black males earning a four-year degree. That's an issue.
It is.
That's lost. And then you look at the gaps here. Same thing. How can, young men grow up in an urban area, never be exposed to the realities of life, a normal life at that, because I didn't see a normal life growing up, and then they come over to the other side and they have that chance, but they don't make it. Somewhere, somehow, we have these bridging lost gaps within our lives. So that's why I wanted to create it.
That's powerful. That's powerful, and we need more like you, and speaking of more like you, we have Mr. Anderson with his own agenda, and we'll raise them up. So could you speak about how you and Greg meet and link up?
Okay. It was December of 2013. He and I were speaking at a juvenile facility with teenagers who ultimately they have release dates. And so we had this same mindset that we're going to give back to the community. Greg shared a story, about being incarcerated and, playing basketball and not making the right decisions and choices in life. And I was like, wow. But to see him come back and not to fall back into the system, that initially blew my mind. And then number two, for him to say, hey, I went there and I started reading and, my knowledge was everything. I saw that he valued education and getting knowledge, because knowledge is power, but it's only powerful when you utilize it. So I saw a guy, just off the humble, go get knowledge and that power, but then he came back and was giving it to other people, which made it powerful. So he and I had a few conversations, and he came out during like the first Friday to speak to my students. And this speech that he gave really gave them, I would call it, competency, meaning that he made them aware of what's going on in society, meaning that if you make these type of choices, this is what can happen to you. And with that awareness, what comes in is knowledge, ultimately. And what that knowledge does is give people a skill set that now I'm competent in these areas. So I feel like the students that his speech did impact, it gave them, one of his title presentations, a sense of urgency. That I have to be aware, I have to be knowledgeable, because I need the skill set to be a complete person and to be competent as an African American male.
Okay. Well, I'm glad this is moving right along. That's exactly what I was going to ask you about. That speech that you speak on, that happened January of this year. It was based largely on opportunity. So you said how you felt some students may respond to it, as far as understanding that you must be competent, and give them competency of themselves in the world around them. And did you get, and if you did, what were some of the feedback from the students, that actually came from them?
Okay, it's a kid named Devontae Pinkston. He graduated from Northwestern High School. His mother did drugs, for the majority part of his life. He was here his first semester, and he earned a 2.5 GPA his first semester. This first week that we came back into the winter semester, Greg was the keynote speaker, and Devontae was there to listen to Greg's speech. Now, with this sense of urgency, Devontae took this speech in. I think he took it apart, where he looked at his life and he measured out, what do I have to put first on my agenda every single day? Because what you saw there, he started living with more of a sense of urgency. I have to study, I have to go to class, I have to be on time, I have to take advantage of every opportunity, I have to work on myself outside of the classroom. And not only that, but I have to always have one foot in and one foot out, meaning I am a college student, but also I'm being prepared for the real world. So this sense of urgency you saw start developing in him, and he carried that out for the next 14 weeks, which is an entire semester. And with that, at the end of it, Devontae is a recipient of over 12 different scholarships. That's $30,000 in cash.
Yes, sir.
He got hired for next year to be a student ambassador within the undergraduate admissions office. He got hired to be a writing tutor that starts next fall here at the Writing Center at Madonna University. I'm hiring him as an assistant in my office for the fall of 2014. Just because of the sense of urgency, he has been hired to work as a summer bridge counselor during our 7-week summer bridge program this year. And not only that, but he started, he founded and now direct his own website called Freedom Writers. So this is a kid that heard a speech and he has taken off. And you can't ask for nothing more than that.
You can't.
You think about it, this is a 19-year-old, and just 23 days ago, he was just a freshman in college and considered to be at risk. But to put the sprinkles on top, he earned a 3.5 this past semester. And so, again, that's the definition of hearing Mr. Anderson's speech, and that's an example of a student living with a sense of urgency.
That's a shining example that every young black man, especially in Detroit, needs to meet, including myself. And I would love to meet this man, for real. So, lastly, speaking on everything we talked about, would you recommend Mr. Anderson, to give speeches, more speeches, as far as student development services? And if you would recommend them, what are some of the reasons?
Okay. I would definitely recommend Mr. Anderson's speeches to be something that our country can utilize, not just for students of color, but for all students. We're living in a time and day where technology has taken over the focus of a lot of mindsets within our youth and our upcoming and future leaders. To say, the reason why I would suggest Mr. Anderson being that speaker or having a speech to be a model or part of like orientations and summer bridge programs, truthfully, because that's what we need to focus in America. If everybody lived with a sense of urgency and if everybody took every day serious and to the T and lived out to their full maximum potential, I don't think we'll live in a good country, or we wouldn't produce these good results. But everything would be great. And when you look at the world standards and you look how America is falling behind in the educational system when, compared to other countries, we have good results. But as Mr. Anderson said, if we live with a sense of urgency, just think about those results. It will go to great. And we can compete with the Shanghais and the Beijings and, all of the other countries and continents ultimately in the world.